SEO Audit, how to conduct one. Hello and welcome. In this video session, I'm going to show you how to conduct an SEO audit. Simply, let's take a sample website. Let's choose one. Let's grab this particular URL and say, you know what? Let's conduct an SEO audit on this URL. Now, let me close this. Let me create a folder and say sample site. Let me place that template that I use when I optimize a website. Now, to conduct an SEO audit, there are many tools on internet, SEO tools, and you can do a lot of different things using these different tools. But I'm going to show you a free tool that you can use up to 500 requests. It's called Screaming SEO Spider, and I'll walk you through the steps that I follow when I conduct an SEO audit. Okay, so let me open up this template that I've actually created, because I use many different tools, some paid, some free, and it's Screaming Frog SEO Spider that basically simplifies everything. Because let's say you're an SEO specialist or you provide SEO services, so therefore you want to make your SEO audit or anything that you do for SEO understandable for your client. So instead of bombarding them with charts and graphs and numbers, you want to simplify the information you pass on to them as well. Okay, so I'm gonna shut up now. I'm just going to take you through the steps that I follow when optimizing a website. An SEO audit is important. Now let's grab this URL and say, you know what, we are conducting an SEO audit for this particular website. Can Google index the site? So let's do this search. Let's do site operator and place that and say, yes, Google can index this site. These are rather basic. You can say yes. When did Google last visit the site? Ideally, the home page, you can press on the cache link, and here you can see when last visit from Google occurred. Now, today is the 2nd of May, so therefore that's about 4 days. Now, why is that important? I've created tooltips and comments here. You can pause this video and read through it, so I'm not going to bore you because we've got a lot of things to cover here. This is important to kind of see how often Google crawls, so then when you make the updates, you're aware how much time you've got when making updates. Has it ever been penalized by Google? Ideally, when the site is in Google index and your client has informed you that there has been no manual action sent to them through Search Console, then you know it's not being penalized by Google. So basically, there is no way you can actually find this information unless your client tells you that the site is being penalized for various reasons, because Google has guidelines and we need to obey them. Any broken code. Broken code, you kind of need to look at the source code of the website. Now, the website may be rendering perfectly, and yet the code is broken. Now, what I found throughout the years, the easiest way to find this initially, before you log into the website and look at the source code and all that stuff, is use Firefox browser and request the website, and then press on Ctrl U on the keyboard to see if anything is in color red, because Firefox browser kind of guides you if things are broken by highlighting them in color red. and you just need to your left, right, look at the source code. Here I can see this tag is in red, and if you hover over, it's saying, you know what, that's stray script tag. So perhaps moving this somewhere else may fix that issue. Make sense? So look at the code that is highlighted in color red on the content. You need to sometimes scroll left, right, and also by just looking at this, these are commented out things, right? It could be to do with the content management system, but sometimes the commented code is not needed. So you need to keep an eye on that and say to yourself, you know what, there's a paragraph here and it seems that it's all green color. It seems like it's a comment. Why is that there? You want to find out if that website requires that. If not, that's a great candidate for you when optimizing your website to remove that. Because if it's not needed, why is it there? Now, when you end up seeing broken things like this highlighted in red using Firefox, you want to be able to say to yourself, you know what, when optimizing the website, I need to fix that. So keeping an eye out on where source code 1147, now you at least know that when you need to optimize the website, you need to just double check the broken code. Now, the website may look great from the front end, but behind the scenes, if there are things that are broken for HTML, we need to fix them. Okay, while here, let's grab this and actually start our Screaming Frog tool to start analyzing it and requesting the site. I think I do have a video showing you how to use the Screaming Frog SEO Spider tool. It is rather straightforward. All you do is place the URL in there and let this tool analyze the website. Now, hierarchical structure of the site. What does that mean? That means when you visit certain parts of any website, hierarchical structure is the URL structure. Yeah, how does it branch out? Here I can only see one at the moment. Here we've got blog number 2. I can look at the source code to look at some of the links here. It's a typical WordPress site. Images in 1, 2 folder structure, so that means it's 2 levels. The typical WordPress, okay, let's leave it at that, because sometimes you'll end up seeing a website that has 6 levels deep before you reach the content. So here, looking at the URL structure, whether from the front end, whether using tools like Screaming Frog SEO Spider, I can press on Content tab to see text HTML. There's an event calendar or perhaps a plugin there. And that's a typical web page. Text HTML character set UTF-8. So that's 1 level. Here we can see that's 1, 2 level. Here it is 3 level. So 1 abearas / that's 2nd level now. And another / I can see 1, 2, 3. 3 levels. 1, 2. Yes, I can now say, you know what? That website has 3 levels within the URL structure. Now, as I've said, if you're an SEO specialist or provide services, then SEO Audit is mainly for you, because your client is not going to understand what is going on here. But you must be able to conduct the audit so that you know when you pull your sleeves up to get to optimization work, you now know how you need to approach certain things. Let's look at directory browsing. And let's grab this URL. That is archives and that is data archives, right? Let's look at CSS. Let's go here. Let's request this. That's a cache plugin. Directory browsing is allowed here. Absolutely not smart. So therefore, directory browsing allowed. Here I created my own template and I've color coded certain things. Now I can highlight that and saying that's bad. That needs to be fixed. Because here, look at this PHP error code. Now I can see what errors are occurring in what plugins if it's a WordPress site. But someone who's like perhaps a hacker and so on, this actually creates a security flaw on a website. So therefore, directory browsing must be disabled. So if you end up seeing things like what you're seeing here, let's press on uninstall. Makes sense? So directory browsing is very important to disallow. Most websites actually have directory browsing disabled by default, but when you're conducting an audit, then you end up seeing different things perhaps. Keywords to text ratio. Now, first of all, whatever you do, don't get caught up with keyword density stuff, because that is the lame way of thinking about SEO. Instead, keywords to text ratio requires you to read the content. And once you read the content on any website that you're optimizing, then you'll end up seeing if the website is just keep repeating the same keywords over and over again, thinking that it's going to help their SEO. So therefore, once you read the content, then you say, here we've got Melbourne chiropractor. Let me copy that text because it seems that is mentioned twice only. Let's grab the single word that's only mentioned 3 times. So therefore, you want to look at the text, and the ratio obviously is not spam. So you need to use your common sense there when looking at keywords to text ratio. And then once you know the content is not spamming and repeating keywords over and over again, then you can say, you know what, that's balanced. Or you can say it's excessive use of keywords or target keywords. Hidden text. Let's take a look at that. Now, I actually rarely see this when I optimize websites, but unfortunately, when a client gets their website developed or SEO optimized by some so-called expert, then what happens is that sometimes the hidden text is placed within the code itself. So from the front end, the website and the visitors see different content, but behind the scenes, using various techniques such as CSS display hidden or Z index to move the content to the left and all that stuff, some websites do have hidden text working behind the code, thinking it's going to help their SEO, but it's not going to help their SEO. In fact, Google's going to penalize sites like that because that's deceptive practice for Google guidelines. So therefore, for you to find hidden text, you need to rather analyze the source code, especially the content area, and see, double check that the content in the source code is the content here and there is nothing more to it. There is no hidden text, like huge text with lots of keywords and so on. It will rather jump out at you when you're looking at the source code, hidden text, okay? So to keep this video short, for that particular example, let's say no, there is no hidden text. Has small text. Small text is just tiny text, usually placed in footers for increasing keywords. And looking at this particular website and looking at certain different pages, you can see there is no funny keyword insertion there. So there is no small text for the sake of search engine optimization. Excessive keyword repeats? No, there isn't, because I've quickly glimpsed at it before, right? JavaScript usage. Now, depending on the content management system, you need to look at script tags and ask yourself, okay, that's typical WordPress with plugins, that's all okay, and that's in the footer, so that's not bad. But at the top here, there is another script happening here, and this is typical WordPress setup, so you really can't do much about it. But if you're looking at a different website using different content management system, then look at the external JavaScript as well as internal JavaScript. For WordPress sites, as I've said, you can forget about it because it's just the way WordPress works. But if you have a static site or using different content management systems, then you need to be able to say to yourself, okay, I have internal JavaScript and an external JavaScript. Can I combine them together? You can say, no, this is a typical WordPress site. So you really can't do much about that. Same is true with CSS. Google Guidelines Best Practices suggests to group things together for CSS styles as well. So you can look at the style sheet here and say, okay, you know what? What's going on here? Can I place that within an external CSS? Because that's already occurring somewhere here. Perhaps the theme CSS default file. So then you've got to ask yourself, does that really need to be there? Okay, so that's what that setting is all about. CSS usage. You can say typical WordPress site for that as well, but you can say source code 32. So when you're optimizing the website, then you can double check that and say, okay, which plugin is using that? CSS styles. Keywords in main domain. Let's take a look at that. This is the domain name. Disk in life. That is keywords in the main domain. In this example, no. Now, what are the keywords? Well, keywords are the keywords that you want to rank for. So keywords such as chiropractor, Melbourne, keywords in the domain, I can say there are no keywords in the domain. There's no target keywords. That's what that means. Domain extension in this example is .com.au, and that's rather good for a local business especially, because this is Australian extension. Domain registration date. Let's look at this particular website. Let me grab that. You can conduct a whois search if you want to see who registered the domain and when it was registered. I can copy that and say that website has been around a while, because a brand new website going online for the first time requires a different search engine optimization approach compared to a website that's been doing all the right things for the past 10 years. That does not mean you cannot outrank a website within a month, even if it's a brand new website. Hosted domain location. I've got all these tools set up because this is what I do. I work on internet and you can actually utilize these same tools as I am working through. IP locations, let's go and check where that IP and domain is hosted. IPlocation.net website is a great tool. Here, yes, that's in Sydney, Australia. I can say Australia and leave it at that if I want. Oh, we can even say Sydney. Why is this important? This is rather important for local businesses. And I actually found some of the search engine optimization mastery techniques through by chance. Meaning, rankia.com.au is an Australian SEO service website, right? And I end up getting lots of leads coming from Perth. And yet I did have a website that was optimized for SEO services in Melbourne. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This was a few years ago. I'm optimizing for SEO service Melbourne, and then I end up getting lots of leads from Perth. Reason being, my domain was hosted in Perth. So one way or another, Google, looking at many different things, it does somehow, for some search terms, look at the server location as well. So therefore, if the website that you're optimizing is based in Melbourne and is looking for clients in Melbourne, there is no point hosting that website in, let's say, UK. Make sense? Now, there is a lot of benefits for hosting your web server locally, because when a page gets requested, just like a phone call, if you call UK, there is a time difference. But if you call Melbourne and the person is in Melbourne, then it's quicker. Because IP needs to make a lot of hops to reach its destination. Keywords in the URL means wellness education in this example. Let's say yes, there are keywords in the URL. Keywords in the URL, you can even get a sample URL and paste it in there, because that's going to help you when you begin optimizing the pages. Keywords in the URL, you can say yes if you want. 301 redirection, SEO Spider tool, response codes, you can redirection, look at that. Filter total, there's 225. Yeah, some of these may be to do with, as you can see, instance ID, if it's an e-commerce site, it could be that it's doing 301 redirection automatically using some plugins and so on. But nonetheless, you want to be able to say 301 redirection, is it happening? If so, why is it happening? And if the website is doing the right thing. Because I recently optimized, provided a small service for a valued client, and they were doing 301 redirection to mainly the homepage. That's never smart. So here I can say there's 225 301 redirection. Then when the site is being optimized, that must be checked and make sure that 301 redirection is following the best practices. Because sometimes it's okay to have 404 pages instead of 301. Because you have to think like Google and follow its guidelines. And it tells you that if the page that you have on your website is no longer there, then if you do have a content that is similar or very closely related, then that's perfect candidate for 301 redirection. But if it isn't, then it's okay to throw 404 and simply ignore that old URL. Because Google says when our customers follow a link that we provide to them to a particular web page or website, when they visit that website, they want to find the information that we believed it was suitable for that. Now, if that information is not there, let me clarify it like so. Let's say someone's looking for sports shoes and you have a product as such. They follow Google, they search it, sports shoes, Google provides your website link, but that page is being 301 redirected because you don't sell sports shoes anymore. And if it goes to your homepage and it's talking about watches, then that's a bad user experience for Google searchers. Make sense? That's why sometimes you gotta ask yourself, you know what? Maybe it's okay for me to just ignore 301 redirection if I don't have a similar content. That's why 301s are very important. But once again, you can visit Rankia YouTube channel, and I do have a video tutorial that shows you best practices for 301 redirection, okay? Broken links. There are many different tools that you can use to check broken links. There is an open source one. You can simply give the URL of the site that you want to check the broken links. Let's say okay, and it's going to go ahead and check the links for broken links, and it's going to provide a report for you. So I'm not going to cover that, but you can use that particular tool. Xenu broken link checker, you can download it and use it. If the website you're going to optimize is built on WordPress, there's a plugin called broken link checker. I use this for myself. I use it for my clients' websites as well. You can easily install it. It's called broken link checker. Okay, so simply search WordPress plugin depository. And there are many different ones, but broken link checker does a great job automatically, and you can every now and then, perhaps once every couple of weeks, you can look at the plugin to see if it finds broken links. If it does, then you can fix them, because broken links are absolutely terrible to have. So therefore, that becomes part of website maintenance. So I'm going to leave this in place. Just realize that the tool is going ahead and looking for broken links. So after it finds it, then you can write, or you can even let this create a report, so you have it with you to know which URLs that you need to fix from broken links. Okay, duplicate URLs. Let me simplify it, because this video is, once again, it's going for too long now. I still want to pass on important information. Let me do this search. Let me remove that www version to see what happens. It's redirected. Now that clearly says someone has remedied that, because sometimes the website can be viewed with www version, and also it can be viewed without www. As far as Google is concerned, that is two completely different URLs. Okay, so duplicate URLs, you can analyze the URL structure. You can look at here, as you can see, there is no www happening here, right? Whereby I requested a website with www version. So now you need to ask yourself, okay, let me open that up in a browser to see where does that go. And let's go and look at this one, because that hasn't got www. Let's go view. Where does this go? It goes to www version. So it seems that this particular website is keeping an eye on its duplicate URLs. Duplicate URLs. Let me clarify it and say no, but double check www version, so I can remind myself with this to make sure that when we look at Search Console, everything is set properly, including preferred domains, and then Google is aware of the correct URL structure. Linking page level. You need to do a bit of manual analysis here. Let me close some of these tabs. go to the home page again. This is the home page. There are some links, as you can see. And right now, you know, when you look at this, you know that the color structure here needs to be optimized because it just doesn't make any sense at the moment. Linking page level. How many internal linking? Using this tool, you can see 742 internal links. As I've said, some of them may be image links, some of them may be to do with plugins or CSS and so on. But nonetheless, you need to keep an eye out on the linking, including the menu links and so on. Internal link, I can say 742 for that website. External link, how many links are external, going to external sites? There is 48 links here. Then you want to say, why is that? Where does that go? Because external links are important. Keywords in anchor text, I can say mixed, because this website is using keywords in the anchor text and sometimes it isn't. The best practice is to use anchor text, including synonyms and so on. Because then when the site is being optimized now, maybe anchor text needs to be changed with internal linking. Web page title, title of a web page. Page titles here you can see. Then you want to double make sure that all is original and it makes sense. The length, some of them are short. Title, frequently asked questions, fees. These could be improved at this moment. Let me give you an idea. Frequently asked questions about being healthy, as an example. Contact fees page. Fees could be to do with chiropractor service fees in Melbourne. Melbourne chiropractor service fees and so on. Because titles are important, not just for search engines, but for people as well. Currently looking at the title, fees. Fees for what? For exercise programs? For consultation sessions? What is it? So you can then create better titles. Title length. For Google, you want to stay within 60 character space. So that is a huge title. So you know straight away now, titles need to be fixed. Exceeding 64 characters, yes. Does it have keywords? Mixed, some do, some does not. Does it reflect the page? No. Any duplicates? So you need to analyze this. Here I can see there are duplicates and you want to find out why that is. Because if Screaming Frog SEO Spider can see all this, so can Google. In fact, Google can see more. So URL structures like this, looking at it, you may say, maybe I'll utilize robots.txt file to block these URL structures. And in this example, you could block things like this. I'll show that to you as well, so your knowledge expands about best practices for SEO. Here, you can now say, you know what? While here, disallow, colon, let me give /, and then after equal sign, let me put an asterisk to cover all the random numbers. So now I've just told Google using robots.txt file, you know what, Google, when you request the URL such as this, I don't want you to crawl it. Any duplicates? Page title? Yes, there were duplicates, so they need to be rechecked. Now, Search Console is your friend. That means looking at Search Console HTML improvements, you'll see duplicate titles, short titles, and all that stuff. But you're analyzing the website, you're conducting an SEO audit, because you're going to optimize the site, then you must know all this stuff before you begin to optimize anything on a website. Meta description is the same process, so let me fly through. Meta description, let me look at the length of it. 160, 150, and these do not. That's perhaps to do with events. Meta description in this example, because the blog section can have meta description, right? But it doesn't have it. And some of them seems like, okay, why is that showing two different? One is with HTTP, one is without HTTPS. So you can create notes for yourself and say, double check URL structure. For HTTPS. Or you could easily do that by pressing F12 on the keyboard, refresh the page to see if there are any errors. Mixed content issues, as you can see, that's HTTPS, so that means the HTTPS site move was not done correctly. So therefore, you keep an eye out on this, double check URL structure for HTTPS. So now you can say, that's bad. It must be optimized, as in fixed. Is it unique? Meta description. Now I see a lot of duplication going on here. So now all meta description on that site must be redone. No. No. Any duplicates? Yes. How many characters? It is already some missing, some 0, and others are okay. It's within 150, 160 space. You don't have to get too much caught up into exact character count, but as long as it reflects the page content and it's within 150 characters, then that's much better for Google to show in its result set. Heading tags are important. Let's look at it. Yes, they are using heading tags. Here as well you can see. You can say heading tags. Yes, they are using it. Using it properly though. What does properly mean? Properly means I can see here they are not using it properly. Because look how close they are with one another. It's just an eyesore. Image names, you can look at some of the images on the page if they have any. Open it up in a new tab. Open the image up in a new tab. JPEG.jpg doesn't make any sense. So now, right now you don't even have to look at Alt, because you know the images aren't optimized, so they must be optimized. Sitemap.xml. Looking at the source code, you may be able to see plugins being used on the website, particularly if it's built on WordPress. Here they're using all-in-one SEO pack. So now, looking at that, you can find out the sitemap information. So they are using a sitemap, which is important and which is good. Is there? Yes, it is there. Are they using robots.txt file? Yes, they are. And when you see things like this, you may want to request those URLs to see why that website owner doesn't want Google to see those pages. Is Googlebot used as user agent directive? No. Major browser compatibility means you need to open up the website in different browsers to see how they look on Firefox, on Safari, Internet Explorer, or Edge. So you need to request the website. Yes, grab a sample URL, or even the home page to see how did Safari render this. On rare occasions, different browsers may render things differently. I know it's rather silly, but that's just the internet you and I are stuck with, right? Because different browsers want to use different coding, and they sometimes support certain things, sometimes they don't. So you need to then visit the page and say, yes, everything looks okay for all the browsers. So I'm trying to make this video as short as possible, but SEO audit is a very important search engine optimization factor. Page load times, this is rather tricky, and here much depends on your target audience and location of your target audience and the internet speed that they use when they visit your client's website. Page speed insights will definitely show you room for improvement. I'm not going to cover that, but you can kind of see, can certain things be fixed? Compression can be enabled depending on the web server, because some web server settings may not allow compression settings. And browser caching, they may be able to utilize that. For WordPress, you usually use plugins for that. Render blocking JavaScript, can these be moved to the footer? Sometimes they can, sometimes they cannot be. Can the CSS be minimized or moved in different places? Remember, sometimes it can, sometimes it cannot be. But you want to be able to say, you know what? Page speed insights shows me 48 for desktop. That's just a random number. It can change depending on request. And for mobile, it seems that it's a little bit better for mobile. And 66 for mobile. So as optimizing website, once you start beginning to optimize website, then you can see, you know what, for that particular website, yes, you definitely need to make improvements, especially when you end up seeing things in orange or red color. Basically, you're saying, can you improve the page load times? But remember, there are many factors that you need to consider before you're investing a lot of time and energy trying to improve page load times, such as where your target audience is located. Because in Australia, we use 4G on our mobile connection speed, whereby someone in, let's say, Pakistan may be using, I don't know, 2G. So they have slow connection. Make sense? So that is important to consider. Structured data, that is something important in 2017 and beyond. And you can use a tool called Google Structured Data Testing Tool to simply place a sample URL from that website to see if it is using structured data. You can always look at the source code as well. Simply paste the URL, let this tool run the test to see if the site is using structured data. By looking at this, I can see it actually has a lot of problems, right? So we can say, no, it's using a local business structured data, but it has issues. We can say, yes, it is using structured data, but has issues. But it's not using structured data properly. Mobile friendly is very important. And you have a tool made available by Google called Mobile Friendly Test. They are updating their tools. So therefore, the structured data testing tool, page speed testing tool, mobile friendly testing tool is absolutely brilliant, and it's free for you to utilize as well. Let's run the test. Yes, the website is mobile friendly. So I can grab the URL and actually paste that in there. Okay, let's save this document. Now this document is saved. Now this is an SEO audit we've just conducted. Right now, you can then sit back and say, you know what? You have enough understanding to begin to optimize the website. But if you're working for a client particularly, then Search Console access is very important. So you need to request Search Console access and analyze the features shown in Google Search Console, because no SEO audit can truly be complete without looking at Search Console if the website you're conducting an audit for utilizes Search Console. If they don't, then it's smart for you to set that up for your client as well. At the end of the day, Search Console is absolutely important to further analyze an SEO audit. But right now, you've kind of seen what is important. And I am sure there are many different tools available that helps you to conduct SEO audit. But nothing beats manual SEO audits. I thank you very much for learning with me. If you benefited from this video session, please do give it a like and share it, and I'll talk with you in the next video session.